So I want to talk to you about this assignment. Again, we're going to go through this again. Characters and summary. This is due on Monday. When you come back after Thanksgiving, you already know what pages you're supposed to read because you wrote that in your packet. The directions read all the assigned pages. While reading, think about the characters in the text. In the circle map below, which is this, you will write the character's name in the little circle. Write adjectives about the character's name in the larger circle, and quote sentences that help you describe the character in the large rectangle. Then summarize what you read. Okay? We're going to do that right now as a class with this book, Mrs. Spitzer's Garden. Mrs. Spitzer's Garden. Mrs. Spitzer is a teacher. She is in room 108. Who do we put in the center circle?
Mrs.
Mrs.
Spitzer.
Spitzer. And what is an adjective or two or three about Mrs. Spitzer? Bola.
She loves plants.
Okay? So the adjectives go in the big circle. Loves plants. And what is a quote from the text that proves she loves plants? How about, and some need gentle care? What's another thing about Mrs. Spitzer? Another description, another describing word or adjective. Alana? Teacher. There's a quote in the text that says, Mrs. Spitzer is a teacher. I would like to add one. Mrs. Spitzer is, what does this say about her? Mrs. Spitzer watches them closely. I'm going to write the quote down first. What does that say about her? I'm hearing people saying that careful is a good adjective for Mrs. Spitzer. Okay? So sometimes if there's a quote that really says something about the character, you can write the quote down and then say what that says about Mrs. Spitzer. Okay? And that's really just how you're going to do this assignment. So now let's talk about the summary. What happened throughout the book, throughout the pages that you read, include character names, events, and locations. So what happened in Mrs. Spitzer's? Toby? Okay, hold on. Let's use the character's name. Instead of every year's sheet, let's say her character's name. Detail. In the summary, let's get a little more general. Okay? So every year Miss Spitzer teaches, and then in the summer she plants plants. Okay? What are some events that happen? She watches the plants carefully and helps them grow. She lets the plants go at the end of the summer, but they keep growing. And that's pretty much the end of the book.